Now, while the hedgehog remains one of Ireland's most familiar and beloved mammals, surprisingly little is known about its current status. Nationwide, studies across Britain and Europe have found significant declines in hedgehog populations due to habitat loss, changing farming practices and development, and there are concerns that similar pressures may be affecting hedgehogs here in Ireland. To that end, a new National Hedgehog Survey, a collaboration between researchers at NUI Galway and the National Biodiversity Data Centre, is aiming to fill that knowledge gap, with members of the public and farmers being encouraged to get involved. And joining us on this is Bev Truss from the Hogsprickle Sanctuary in Broadford. Bev, how are you?
Hiya, how are you doing?
Very, very well. I was complimenting you on your hoodie. It's fantastic. It says, "This is how I roll," and has a picture just of a hedgehog in various stages of rolling around. So top quality. How badly needed is this survey from someone, with your intimate knowledge of the hedgehogs and kind of their population out there and the dangers they face?
Yeah, it's really, really important. So we're trying to get everybody involved that might see a hedgehog, whether it's alive in the garden or crossing the road when you're coming home or driving somewhere, whether it's even dead on the road. We're trying to encourage everybody to get into this, because citizen science is one of the most important ways that we can find out what's going on in the country, not just because with hedgehogs, but with everything else. We don't have the numbers that the UK maybe have in research, because the research here in Ireland is very sketchy. Elena Reardon at UIG Galway, she did the the garden survey, and she's been doing that for about 4 years. But this week, starting from today right to the end of the week, we're encouraging absolutely every single person in Ireland to go into the Hedgehog Conservation website. That'll have a link through to the biodiversity page, and you can log all your sightings there. So if it's one hedgehog, if it's 3 hedgehogs, every single hedgehog matters. These wee animals are such an important key species in our environment, and we're losing them hand over fist.
And, they're one of those creatures, Bev, that, and I know I have them in my own garden, I always enjoy seeing them, although the sightings are pretty rare. People know about hedgehogs, but they know very little about them. And indeed, you're talking there about biodiversity. They know very little about them, and also how beneficial they are. In terms of our biodiversity. So what is it about hedgehogs that they do, or that they keep at bay, or that what kind of purpose do they serve? Okay,
so the hedgehogs in our environment, they used to be called the gardener's friend, because people thought they'd come into the garden and they would eat up all the slugs and snails. Slugs and snails are about 10% of their diet, and in fact slugs and snails are a wee bit dangerous, not dangerous, but they can infect hedgehogs with lungworm. So at the Hogsprickle, I get a few hedgehogs in each year with lungworm that I have to treat. But they eat up the insects that would be, I'm growing veg at the minute, and I would love a wild hedgehog in the garden.
They're policing your vegetables for you, are they?
So they eat the kind of insects that would be eating our crops. They're actually a really, really good way of seeing what's happening in the environment, as in heavy metals. So researchers have been able to take the spines of hedgehogs, and I don't know how they do it in the laboratories, but they can tell you what the heavy metals are in the area. If hedgehogs are in an area and then they disappear from that area, something's shifted. Something's not quite right. The environment's changed in such a way that maybe the insect population has taken a dive, and a lot of that would be humans using pesticides, weed killers, that kind of thing. In fact, last week I had 2 hedgehogs come in to me from an area in Limerick, and the council had been out spraying, but these hedgehogs had got covered in whatever the council were using. And the people that found the hedgehogs brought them into me, and they were actually fitting at that stage. Unfortunately, I lost both of them. So it just says what is going on in the environment. What are we doing to the environment that these animals are no longer existing. So they're moving out of the countryside and they're moving into people's gardens, because people are now starting to get the idea that having wild areas and wild patches in the garden is much more beneficial to biodiversity and the insect population. If we lose the insect population, it's a knock-on effect. Do you know?
We're in trouble then. And look, it's good this survey is happening, because we want to get a sense of where Ireland's at with hedgehogs, Bev, because across Europe, hedgehogs are now classified as near threatened. Maybe this is a question that I should be asking you after we get the results of the survey, but kind of anecdotally, and given your extensive work with hedgehogs and protecting them and being concerned with their conservation, how concerned should people in Ireland be about the future of the species, and given the modern threats you highlighted as well?
I think we should be really, really concerned. I mean, everybody knows about the insect apocalypse, the insect declines in the last couple of years, but that has a knock-on effect. That has a knock-on effect not just to the hedgehogs who are insectivorous, I would say omnivorous, because they'll eat anything. I mean, if a hedgehog comes across a rat's nest, it'll eat the baby rats, it'll eat baby mice. They'll also forage. I've got a video that a friend sent me of a hedgehog eating a dead blackbird.
Oh my God, so, they really will eat anything, won't they?
They'll take advantage of any foods, just like most wildlife, you know. Our wild species are the clean-up crew. The rooks and the corvids, they'll clean up any of the roadkill, etc. So we've got to look after that. We've got to look after the insects. If we look after the insects, we then start to look after the bird population. We'll look after the hedgehogs. We'll look after, and it goes up.
Yeah, they're clearly doing the dirty jobs that none of us want to do.
Exactly.
I don't want to be eating baby mice or rats, I'll tell you that much. You've already highlighted where people can take part in the survey, Bev, but just finally, what are some simple steps that homeowners can take to make our gardens more welcoming for hedgehogs?
Stop using the toxins, stop using the poisons. Stop using, it drives me nuts. I shout at the radio when I hear people selling chemicals that will get rid of the moss in the garden. The moss in the garden's like an insect nursery. That's where all the insects lay their eggs. And the hedgehogs get a beneficial from digging up the moss and getting the insect eggs, the earwigs, the caterpillars, the worms, the beetles that they would be eating. I think that's one important thing. The other is if I was in government, I'd be banning plastic grass. Plastic grass is just a biodiversity nightmare, and it has to go into, it's just plastic. I would believe in wild areas of the garden. So if you've got a leaf pile or a stick pile, especially bonfires, don't burn the bonfires. Just let it go in the corner of the garden where it's not going to bother anybody, and let it break down. You'll find that the hedgehogs will move into that. They'll nest in there. And at this time of the year, the hedgehogs are having hoglets. So it's so important that you don't disturb them. And this is one of the important things from the survey is you should only be counting the hedgehogs that you actually see. Don't actively go out looking for hedgehogs.
Okay.
You don't want to be disturbing them. Leave the grass long. Hedgehogs will move through wild patches, even if it's just a strip of the lawn that you just ignore. And lock away the robotic lawnmowers, for goodness sake.
Yeah,
They're
I want to ask you about them. They're a real modern threat. Okay, well look, everyone do whatever you can to help them out, because clearly hedgehogs are rolling up their prickly sleeves and doing lots of jobs that are beneficial for humans. Bev, thank you very much.
More than welcome.
And be interested to see what results emerge from the survey. We'll have you in again maybe to discuss those.
Yeah.
Bev Truss from the Hogsprickle Sanctuary in Broadford. And actually, Bev, if anyone needs to contact the sanctuary to alert you to any issues or anything, how can they get you?
And the Hogsprickle is on Instagram, which follows through into Facebook, but I've also got a website as well. Now, I'm not very good on social media. I'd much prefer being with the hedgehogs that I have in care at the moment.
Okay.
So they can contact me there. And the Hogsprickle is a charity. I know everybody's struggling at the moment, but a few euro would really make a difference, you know.
Okay. Every little bit helps, folks.
Absolutely.
Bev, thank you very much. And we'll speak to you again soon. Bev Truss from the Hogsprickle Sanctuary in Broadford with us on Monday's Morning Focus.